What's up, everybody? Well, after 3 flights, my controller is already broken and I don't know why. Let's talk about what's happening and hopefully what kind of a resolution we can get from DJI. Welcome to Life of Acro. I'm Acro Brandon and this is my life. Well, I was super excited when I released this other little video of me getting my first FPV kit. And, well, less than a week later, this controller is a paperweight. It's a turd. So I didn't notice this when I first unboxed everything because I was excited. And when I went to do my first flight, I noticed that when I would arm the drone, that the props would spin up really hard. And actually, when I was taking off, it was starting to fly backwards right off the bat. I thought that maybe the tune was backward heavy to offset the weight of a GoPro in the front, leaving things balanced. Come to find out, it was actually the stick. So if you can look at this, right, you can see how, right, on this is a mode 2, so that means this side is the throttle, which will stick wherever you want it to be. And this is the pitch forward, back, and then roll, right? So when it lifts, it should go back to 0, but it goes all the way down. And if I was to pitch all the way backwards, so to speak, it just stays right here. So there's a lot of slop here, which got progressively worse very quickly. I didn't notice that. I noticed it, but I didn't really know that it was supposed to be an issue right out of the box. But if we compare this to some of my other controllers, you'll see how sloppy and crappy this is. So if we look at the Skydio 2 controller, nothing exciting about this thing except for the fact that it works, but same deal, right? If I push down, it comes back to 0. If I lift up, it's 0. Left and right for roll, all that great stuff, right? It does have a little more spring here because obviously drones are meant to, or at least more of like the cinematic ones, right? They're meant to hover, that kind of stuff, and it comes back to center. But, right, feels great. Feels like exactly like it should be. And if we look at something that's built specifically for FPV, like this Tyrannus X7, which I only bought during the pandemic to fly sims, building up to this moment right here, right? Same thing over here. We have our throttle and all of this stuff, which sticks at whatever point you want it to be, except for yaw. And then over here, right? Up, down, left, right, back. It's perfect, right? It's exactly what you would expect it to do. So what's happening? So basically when I power this thing on, there's a delay, and then it does a 2-tone beep and a vibrate, which according to the troubleshooting means you need to recalibrate the sticks on this thing. So when you put on the FPV unit and then you link this up to the drone, everything's all hooked up and synced, you can go through a calibration process. And it fails every time I try to move the sticks. So when I move it all the way down on both sides, it doesn't matter, but really this is the stick in question, right? All the way down, I get 100%, but when I push all the way forward or full forward pitch, it's only getting up to 80%. And now that I can visually see that representation, it actually makes sense because when I started to program some of the switches and stuff like that in beta flight, when this thing was zeroed, I was actually getting a input reading value. I don't even know beta flight well enough to know what all the values mean, but most of them seem to be at 1500, which is center. This was reading right around 1250 to 1300 at center, which makes sense because that would be a pitch backwards type of input, making the drone fly backwards when I was launching it and arming it initially. Great. So what does that mean? That means that now I've got to send this in to a repair. It's taken 2 days, obviously, to get a hold of DJI. They want me to submit my claim. Right now, I don't know if I can get a replacement or if it's a repair because they say that you can get a replacement if it's been less than 15 days since you bought it, but then you got to reach out to customer service, which I already did. Okay, so is it going to be a repair or replacement, and how long is it going to take me? Because when you spend $300 on something, your expectation should be that it's actually going to work. And right now, I am not very happy. Now, I am a realistic person, and sometimes shit happens, and maybe I'm the one who just got the big turd or a lemon of a product, and hopefully they'll be able to rectify this without $1 coming out of my wallet for shipping, but we will see. With that being said, stay tuned for follow-up videos on how this process is going to go and how quickly it's going to take. I actually did record my first few flights, so I will link that around here because I'm going to put out some videos of me actually flying the FPV. Don't worry. Don't be surprised if it's not super epic. I was ready to start flying acro. The rest of the times there I was just flying around the community here in angle mode, but I was starting to get some really good banking, and what I really liked comparatively from this to the Skydio was the ability to cut the throttle and have the drone drop into instantly and then punch it and come back out. That is exactly what I wanted in FPV, and I was starting to fly, you know, tighter around the trees and under the branches and all the exciting stuff that you want to do when you do FPV. So stay tuned for that. I will see you guys in another video. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and off we go.